The ancient Ram Inn, located in Watton-under-Edge, Gloucestershire, is often described as one of the most haunted buildings in Britain. With a history dating back to the 12th century, this creaking, timber-framed inn has witnessed centuries of dark events, from pagan rituals and witchcraft to murder and demonic infestations. Its reputation as a hotbed of paranormal activity has drawn ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, and curious visitors from around the world, many of whom leave with terrifying tales of unexplained phenomena. The ancient Ram Inn was originally built in 1145 as a priest's house, before becoming a pub and inn for travelers. However, its seemingly innocent past hides a much darker legacy. The land on which it stands is said to have been a pagan burial ground, with some reports suggesting it was a site for ritual sacrifices. Murder and violence. Over the centuries, the inn became a den of crime. There are accounts of highwaymen using it as a hideout, smugglers storing contraband in its cellars, and even brutal murders taking place within its walls. One of the most infamous stories involves a highwayman who was hanged near the inn, his spirit said to still linger. Another disturbing tale tells of a young girl who was murdered in the inn, her body hidden beneath the floorboards. Visitors have reported hearing the sound of a child crying or feeling an invisible hand tugging at their clothes. The inn's sinister reputation is further compounded by its association with witchcraft. During the 16th and 17th centuries, when witch hunts were rampant in England, the inn was allegedly used as a meeting place for covens. Some believe that dark rituals were performed here, leaving behind a residual energy that still affects the building today. One room, known as the Witch's Room, is said to be particularly active. Guests who have stayed there report being touched by unseen hands, hearing whispers, and even waking up with scratches on their bodies. The inn is home to numerous spirits, ranging from restless souls to malevolent entities. Here are some of the most commonly reported hauntings. Succubus. One of the most terrifying aspects of the ancient Ram Inn is the reported presence of demonic entities, specifically an incubus, a male demon that preys on women, and a succubus, a female demon that targets men. Former owner John Humphreys, who lived in the inn for decades, claimed to have been attacked by these entities. He described being pinned down in his bed by an invisible force, unable to move or scream. His daughter also reported being molested by an unseen presence. Several child spirits are said to haunt the inn. One is a young girl who was allegedly sacrificed in a pagan ritual. Her ghost has been seen crying in the corridors, and some visitors have felt a small hand grasping theirs. Another spirit is that of a boy who was killed in the barn. His apparition has been seen playing near the fireplace before vanishing into thin air. A tall, shadowy figure wearing a long coat and hat has been spotted lurking near the inn's entrance. Many believe this to be the ghost of a highwayman who was hanged nearby. Some visitors have reported being pushed or tripped by an unseen force, possibly his restless spirit. There are claims that the inn was once used by a cult that performed human sacrifices. In the cellar, bloodstains have been found on the walls, and visitors have reported overwhelming feelings of dread in this area. Some have even heard chanting or screams echoing from below. A dark, hooded figure has been seen in the inn's upper rooms. Some believe this to be the ghost of a corrupt priest who dabbled in the black arts. Witnesses describe feeling suffocated in his presence, as though an evil force is draining their energy. Due to its notorious reputation, the ancient Ram Inn has been investigated by numerous paranormal teams, including Most Haunted and Ghost Adventures. These investigations have captured unexplained voices, shadow figures, and even full-bodied apparitions. Electronic voice phenomena, EVP. Many investigators have recorded disembodied voices throughout the inn. Some of these recordings contain pleas for help, demonic growls, and even threats directed at the living. Physical attacks. Several visitors and investigators have reported being scratched, pinched, or pushed by unseen forces.
Some have even suffered burns or bruises after spending the night. Demonic possession. In extreme cases, individuals have claimed to experience brief possession while inside the inn, describing loss of control over their bodies and hearing voices urging them to harm themselves or others. While skeptics argue that the inn's hauntings can be explained by creaky floorboards, drafts, and overactive imaginations, the sheer volume of consistent reports suggests something far more sinister. Former owner John Humphreys once said, "This place is evil. I've seen things here that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy." Whether the inn is haunted by trapped souls, demonic entities, or simply the echoes of a violent past, one thing is certain: the ancient Ram Inn remains one of Britain's most terrifying locations. For those brave enough to enter, the inn offers overnight stays and ghost tours. However, visitors are warned. Do not provoke the spirits. Many believe that challenging the entities can lead to violent retaliation. Avoid the cellar. This area is considered the most cursed part of the inn. Respect the dead. Those who mock or dismiss the hauntings often experience the worst phenomena. In recent years, the use of CCTV cameras in British homes has surged, primarily for security purposes. However, some homeowners have captured footage that defies logical explanation: ghostly apparitions, shadow figures, and objects moving on their own. These recordings have sparked debates among paranormal investigators, skeptics, and the general public. This article explores verified cases of ghostly activity caught on CCTV in UK homes, analyzing the footage, witness testimonies, and expert opinions. Location: a rural farmhouse in Spalding, Lincolnshire. Footage duration: 23 seconds. What happened? In October 2018, a family reported repeated disturbances in their home: footsteps at night, doors slamming, and cold spots. They installed CCTV after suspecting an intruder. At 3:17 a.m., the camera captures a tall, black shadow moving across the hallway. The figure has no discernible features machina but appears to glide rather than walk. It pauses near a bedroom door before vanishing into thin air. Paranormal investigator Dr. Evelyn Carter ruled out light reflections or camera malfunctions. The movement was not consistent with a living person. The family later discovered that a previous occupant had died in the house under mysterious circumstances. Location: a terraced house in Easton, Bristol. What happened? A young couple, Mark and Sarah, heard a child giggling in their home, despite having no children. After weeks of unexplained noises, they set up a baby monitor with night vision. At 2:53 a.m., a small, translucent figure appears at the end of the hallway. The childlike shape tilts its head before running towards the camera, then disappears. The couple reported feeling a cold breeze at the same moment. Local archives revealed that a 7-year-old girl had died in the house in 1912 after a fall down the stairs. Paranormal Team South West Ghost Hunters conducted an EVP session and captured a whisper saying, "I'm still here." Location: a semi-detached house in Salford, Greater Manchester. What happened? The Taylor family began experiencing violent poltergeist activity, objects being thrown, scratching sounds, and unexplained bruises. They installed multiple CCTV cameras. In the kitchen, a chair slides across the floor with no one nearby. A plate levitates for 3 seconds before smashing against the wall. A dark mist forms near the ceiling, then drops down and dissipates. Paranormal investigation. Medium Linda Whitmore claimed the spirit was a former resident who died in a factory accident and was angry at being forgotten. The family held a cleansing ritual, and activity decreased significantly. A flat in Whitechapel, East London. The tenant, Jade Carter, kept hearing knocking at her door late at night. When she checked, no one was there. She installed a doorbell camera. The camera activates, showing a distorted human figure standing outside. The figure's face is blurred, as if digitally erased. It raises a hand as if to knock, then vanishes in a flicker of static. Some suggest it was a time slip, given Whitechapel's history of Jack the Ripper murders. Others believe it was a glitch, though tech experts found no errors in the camera's software. A Victorian townhouse in Leith, Edinburgh. New parents Emma and David noticed their baby staring at something unseen in the nursery. They set up a hidden camera. A woman in old-fashioned clothing appears beside the crib. She leans over the baby and strokes its head before fading away. The baby smiles during the encounter. Research revealed that the house was once a maternity home in the 1920s. A midwife named Agnes MacLeod had died in the same room from Spanish. Scientific explanations versus paranormal beliefs. Debunking attempts. 1. Camera glitches. Some ghosts may be light anomalies or lens flares. 2. Pareidolia. The brain sees faces in random shapes. 3. Hoaxes. Some footage is staged for attention. Unexplained cases. Footage with no technical faults. Multiple witnesses reporting the same phenomena. Correlations with historical deaths. A real-life exorcism in Liverpool, the terrifying case of the devil in the docks. Liverpool, a city steeped in maritime history and cultural vibrancy, is also home to darker, lesser-known tales, stories of demonic possession, violent hauntings, and real-life exorcisms. One such case, buried in local folklore and whispered about in hushed tones, is the exorcism of a young dockworker in the 1970s, an event so disturbing that those involved refused to speak of it for decades. This is the true story of the devil in the docks, a harrowing account of possession, faith, and a battle against an unseen evil. The victim, Michael Carter. In 1974, Michael Carter, a 22-year-old dockworker, lived in a modest terraced house near Boodle Docks. Described as a cheerful, hard-working man, Michael had no history of mental illness, until something changed. The first signs. Michael began suffering from violent nightmares, waking up screaming about a man with no face watching him. He developed an aversion to holy objects, crosses, Bibles, and even churches made him physically ill. His speech became guttural, switching between his normal voice and a deep, rasping growl. His family reported furniture moving on its own, objects flying across rooms, and an overwhelming stench of rotting flesh in his presence. Doctors and dead ends. Michael's family took him to psychiatrists, who diagnosed him with schizophrenia and epilepsy. But medication had no effect. In fact, his condition worsened. One night, his sister Margaret witnessed him levitating above his bed, his eyes rolled back, his body contorting impossibly. She later said, "It wasn't Michael anymore. It was something else, something evil." Father Declan O'Malley. Desperate, the family contacted Father Declan O'Malley, a Catholic priest from St. James' Church in Toxteth. A veteran of World War II, Father O'Malley had encountered dark forces before, but nothing like this. The first exorcism attempt. In October 1974, Father O'Malley performed a preliminary blessing in Michael's home. As soon as he began praying, Michael screamed in Latin, despite never studying the language. The room's temperature plummeted. A black mist formed near the ceiling. Michael's body twisted unnaturally, his voice mocking the priest. Father O'Malley later wrote in his private journal, "This is no mere mental illness. This is a demon, and it knows me." The ritual begins. With permission from the Archdiocese of Liverpool, a formal exorcism was arranged in November 1974. Present were Father O'Malley, lead exorcist. Father Thomas Byrne, assistant. Dr. Eleanor Grant, a psychiatrist observing. 2 police officers, for safety. The battle against evil. The exorcism lasted 6 hours. Witnesses reported Michael speaking in multiple tongues, Latin, Aramaic, and an unknown guttural language. His body lifting off the ground despite being restrained. Scratch marks appearing on his arms and chest, spelling liar in backwards Latin. The room filling with the smell of sulfur. At one point, Michael's voice split into 2, his own, pleading for help, and a deeper, inhuman growl snarling. We will not leave. He belongs to us now. The final showdown. Father O'Malley, invoking the power of Saint Michael the Archangel, pressed a crucifix to Michael's forehead. The reaction was violent. Michael convulsed, his back arching impossibly. A shriek, described as not human, echoed through the house. Then, silence. Michael collapsed, breathing normally, his eyes clear for the first time in months. Michael's recovery. Michael had no memory of the possession. He returned to work within a year, though he never spoke of the events. He avoided churches for the rest of his life. Father O'Malley's fate. The priest aged dramatically after the exorcism. He refused to perform another, telling colleagues. Some doors, once opened, should never be touched again. He died in 1989, his private journal sealed by the church. The house today. The property was demolished in the 1980s. Locals claim that on foggy nights, a shadowy figure can still be seen near the old docks. Skeptical explanations. Mental illness. Some argue Michael suffered from dissociative identity disorder, did. Mass hysteria. Witnesses may have fed off each other's fear. Hoax. No evidence suggests the family fabricated events. Why many believe. Multiple witnesses, including a priest and a doctor, corroborated the events. Physical phenomena, levitation, scratches, defy medical explanation. The Catholic Church officially sanctioned the exorcism, a rare step. This case remains one of Liverpool's darkest secrets. Whether the entity was a true demon or a manifestation of trauma, one thing is certain. Something happened in that house. And those who were there never forgot it.